We're recording. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this great interview. My name is Bryce Tubbs. I'm here with Betty Dang. She is an executive love and happiness expert. She has a great story and is helping a lot of people to find love and happiness. This is going to be a great interview. I hope you're taking notes. We're going to be covering a lot of different things, from how to do analysis and how to find high-ticket clients, because she's worked a really large-scale clientele, and it's going to be an excellent interview for you to do the same thing as well. So, is there anything I missed, Betty?
No, thank you, Bryce. I think that was a great introduction. I am a executive love coach and happiness expert. I help people be more productive instead of busy. So what we do is we really lean into our intuition and learn how to make more powerful decisions based on our intuition. So thank you for having me today and inviting me.
All right, cool. So if you could turn up your volume just a little bit. I don't know if the volume is going to be able to be heard 100% crisp, but
it should be.
Okay, now it's good. So,
okay.
What was life like before coaching? I know you did a lot of different things that allowed you to be a great coach today.
Oh, well, that is such a good question, right? Because we do a lot of things that make us a good coach. I think one of my favorite things to do is to teach people. Ever since high school, I've always been a tutor, and then through college, I tutored little kids. I tutored math and reading, and in sciences as well. So I always found that I learned so much more when I taught someone something else that I just learned. So I've always had a passion to teach. And when I was at a standstill in my life last year, I wasn't sure which direction I wanted to take. I had traveled around the country, done trade show sales. My career before all this was in accounting. And I had jumped from accountant to global controller in roles and responsibilities in a very short amount of time. My position, I interviewed several different places throughout my career, and I just was overqualified for so many positions. So I decided, you know what? There are so many unhappy people out there. I talk to a lot of people, and they are always stuck, or they're in leaving a relationship, a narcissistic relationship. There's a divorce, and with the high divorce rate, I was really concerned. So I decided to develop myself as a love and happiness expert, and I really have a keen sense of accounting and business. So I help people account their emotions and their balances in their life the same way as doing in accounting.
Okay. So what is the main problem that they're trying to solve? Is just everything's out of balance, and that's where the accounting kind of comes in, or?
The truth is, a lot of people never address their trauma.
Yeah.
I find that when people do come to me, they're burnt out. They're burnt out. They are tired of what they're doing because they have worked so many hours and they're exhausted, and they haven't spent enough time with their family. So now their family relationships are falling apart, and they've really hit rock bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And what changes is that they decide enough is enough. That's when you hire a coach. Is when you decide enough is enough and that you want your life back and you want to be more productive. So we take a look at what's going on in your life that caused you to burn out in the first place. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times it stems from their relationship and their love relationship. As much as people don't want to admit it, our basic needs is love. Mm-hmm. We have this basic need to connect with others and to feel loved, and that's where we feel satisfied. And we won't, when we lose that connection with our partners, our families, or with ourselves, a lot of times, even if you're not with someone, you can be with yourself and you're not connected to yourself, you start to burn out. So that's usually why clients come to me. They usually have a challenge there, and that creates a problem because now there's things that are behind. And what I'm good at is going into a mess and picking out the important pieces and putting it back together.
Wow.
So a lot of times it's not always a clean mess. It's like, oh, this is the problem. It's usually multiple problems that add up that needs to be unraveled single one by one until you get it straightened out and everything to run smoothly again.
Okay. Wow, that was interesting when you said people can fall in love with themselves, they can lose love with themselves, and that can trigger that's interesting. I never really thought about that. That's a really, really good point. So then who do you usually work with? I know it used to be one thing, but now it's something different.
So that's a good question. I work with accountants, executives, a lot of controllers and executives like managers at the manager level and director level and above, just because their mindset is typically at a different place, and they are much more lonelier than they realize they are. When you move into a manager position, it is a very lonely place because now you are responsible for other people who may or may not appreciate you. Unfortunately, 87% of employees are unhappy in the workplace, so they don't always bring in appreciation for their boss when they come into the workplace. And that sometimes is losing the love of yourself because you're doing all this work and you want to see all these results, but you're not getting the same fulfillment that you normally would.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So then, okay, wow, that's actually unique. I wouldn't have thought of that specific problem because that underappreciation, wow, that is.
It's I guess the reason why I bring it up is because that's the reason why I left my job.
Yeah.
I felt that my controller wasn't being appreciated the same way that he should be. And at the same time, there was a lot of things going on in the company. And the other employees, we were at a holiday party, and all the employees, and I worked in reinsurance. So we worked in Greenwich, like this top notch. We were at a nice restaurant for our holidays, and our controller was coming up to talk, and he does this nice speech every year. It's the same things, but it's about teamwork and being together. But everyone's just because at their tables, and when the controller gets off and the CFO gets up, everyone's just like quiet.
Wow.
And the CFO, you don't see him all the time because he's up there as an executive and he's nice and everything. But the person that takes care of you and take care of your job and takes care of your problems is the controller. And I'm just going to say this: one is Asian and one is Italian.
Mhm.
There was a difference in respect and a difference in level. And when I saw that, I was like, this man has given 15 years of his life
Wow.
to this company, and his coworkers don't give him 5 minutes of their time.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
I said to myself, do I want to be there in 5 years when I take over his job and these people are going to talk to, like, at that time for me at 25 years old, that was important to me.
Yeah.
And now I understand that's the way life is.
Yeah.
That's, if you want to get into the executive position, people are going to talk gossip about you, and people are going to maybe not appreciate the things that you do, but you need to do it because you love them,
Uh,
not because not because you want credit.
uh,
And that's why I became the love coach, because you really have to be love a lot of love for your people to become an executive and to have a good company that where people are happy. I
uh.
came from a happy workplace.
Oh,
it's
wow.
it's so different for other people, but I came from a happy workplace. I had a lot of responsibilities, but I got to do everything myself. We were flat structured, so it was me overseeing several different departments at once as well. So I got to fix the things I wanted to do, and my manager and I, we smiled and we had good talks.
Wow.
And he, like, my CFO would stop and see me at the hallway. He's like, "Hey, Betty, did you go snowboarding this weekend? And how was it? My son goes snowboarding." And we would talk about that. The executive, because we were a flat structure. So that's why for me, talking to executives is not a huge stretch because they're just people. They really are just people, and they are the most fun people because they are lonely, very lonely, because they're underappreciated.
Uh, so that brings up a good point, right? So I think I was telling you before the interview. Actually, let's add some context to that. So can you tell us about your retreats?
So the retreats are a great question. So retreats is where I take you away for 5 or 10 days, and we do subconscious reprogramming. So the first 2 days to 3 days of any retreat, you're still going to be what we call in your nice state. You're still being nice. You're still being like, this is what society has told you is supposed to be. And then by the third day, you're starting to see that society may not be correct. And this is where we start to see your subconscious come out, and the things that you maybe have desired and have put away because society told you this is not right, or these are traumas that you have experienced in your life, and now these are coming out after the third day. And what we do is we address it, we let it go, we learn how to express these emotions and these feelings in a healthy way, because maybe it will be through art, maybe it will be through crying, through anger. One of the best exercises that I do with my clients is we take a stack of dishes and we throw them at a wall.
Oh,
I can see your face right now.
that's cool, but that's messy.
It is. You put a tarp underneath so that it'll catch the fragments and stuff. But if you have a broom and stuff, it's not. But the anger that you're able to let out, leash out, and the things that you say while you're tossing these stacks of dishes is so releasing and so energetically needed. Like, it's that amount of energy. Like,
Yeah.
and we as humans and animals, we have that energy. Like, if you see a wolf run across the tree, like in the trees and stuff, we have the ability to run like that. We release our energy like that. And so in our retreats, we find ways to release the energy. And every retreat is different for each person because it is based on what the spirit tells me, so that I can suggest them, this is what we're going to do next. So I don't have a set saying, okay, this is, I'm going to walk you through this, right? We walk through each chakra, and we learn to move through the root, the sacral, the solar plexus chakras. Are you familiar with the chakras?
I've only seen pictures, but I've understand a brief thing about him.
So in these energy centers, we hold a lot of our traumas, our pains, our desires, our wants, and each center has a expression. Oh, where did it go? Oh, it has a scent. It just like turned down for a sec. So we have this energy where we can hold on to certain memories or certain things. And so when we're not in balance, these energy centers are off balance. And so during the retreat, we're really working with these energy centers to rebalance it. So I work through each chakra. It goes through each third chakra, third eye chakra, and the crown chakra to connect your soul back into your body and your heart.
Wow.
Is that a lot? It is. So
That's cool. Yeah.
So your subconscious reprogramming does a lot of work with your energy work. So it does, we do work on the electromagnetic energy level for the chakra.
How long does that go? Is each one a little bit different in length? Because you said they're different for everybody, but does it have a general length?
Typically by 5 days, unless you have some deep work or stuff, 10 days is what you need to heal for the heal work. But you can do this session in a 90-minute session where we get to work on part of your chakras, and you can do that. You don't have to do it in a retreat, but typically I would say a 5-day retreat is where you need to just be away from society, away from everything, because that's the most important thing. You don't want to go back into society and get subjected to certain energies, because like I said, we're trying to break away from what society has given you as bounds, so that you can find what it is that your true nature is.
Okay.
We can sometimes take on things that we think people want us to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so true, actually. So then, what is the cost of one of these retreats for 5 days?
So that's a good question. So the retreat varies. The retreat can start between $5,000 to $15,000, and depending on if you're at an executive level, it can be up to $50,000, right? The $50,000 is obviously if you're at an energetically exchange level of that
Uh,
exchange level, but normally between $5,000 to $15,000 is where the average price starts.
okay. Can you tell us? Can you tell us? You don't have to tell us about like who it was, or what's the most expensive retreat that you've done?
So the most, yeah, that's a good question. So the most expensive retreat that I did was with my ex-boyfriend. He was going through a divorce and he was going through a lot of trauma and stuff like that. And his retreat was priced at 250,000.
Oh, oh, because I,
Yeah.
I thought I thought it was. Oh my gosh! Whoa.
And we did that because we did that exchange, and we did that exchange,
Uh,
energy exchange, and we did it in Greece. So you can imagine the intense energies that we were able to open in um, that surrounding area is about 200, like that because we did it. I went to Greece to do his retreat and to open up his chakras.
oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
and it's amazing because what it does is it clears out your energy so that you can move forward. His ex-wife had done a number on him,
Uh,
and you can see like the body. It's almost a hypnotist, right? Hypnotized. So when the energy flows, the body just moves, and he's usually this stiff guy, but he moved and he bent back and forth like a doll
uh,
in the wind.
wow.
That's when you know that your body balance.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
What? Well,
So in that retreat, I also cooked. You know,
uh,
I also cook. I also cook every day and make sure the meals are sacred and made with love because of the energy. I also do a lot of sessions, a lot of like one-on-one, like a lot of one-on-one time. So a session like this, I'm completely to him, because he is going through so much trauma. He had a lot of family issues that caused him to choose the wrong partner or choose the partner that he did, and in that marriage created more problems.
mm,
So it's like a layer of, if you think about it, every 7 years you're you're either adding on to your problems because you're not clearing the 7 years before that. It's every 7 years is the cycle.
oh wow.
Yeah.
So you either every 7 years you're either going down or you're going up, or is it
Yeah,
usually?
you're going down, you're always going down and up, right? Everything goes down, must come back up. So when you are every 7 years, you're at a turning point, and it's just normal that we'll reflect on our 5 years and 10 years, and we'll start to make goals and different goals, and we start to change the way we think. So the difference between people who reach their goals and what I help them reprogram them to is, well, what do you want your goals now? So we're going to reprogram you for that success. You need to think about, okay, law of attraction. If you want to be financially free by 45, you're now 35. What does that look like for you? And then we also do the math on that because I'm an accountant. I have to do the math on it. I help people see where that, well, okay, so financially free, what does that mean to you? Does that mean making $75,000 a year? Let's say, for example, that's making $75,000 a year. So if you want to be financially free for the next till you're 80 and you're making $75,000 a year, how much money is that? And we'll start doing that graph and seeing that. That's where my technical and my accounting side comes in, because as you're reprogramming yourself, a lot of people's like, oh, I want to be a millionaire, I want to be a millionaire. But what does that actually look like? What does that specifically look like? And that's what subconscious reprogramming. Millionaire people do not still work. It's not that they don't work. They still work, but you have to be, okay, how do you get there so that you don't work so many hours, so that
Mm,
you're working 10 hours a week instead of 40 hours a week.
mm,
So you would start to think about like how to get there. So that would change the way you act. It would change the way you talk. It would change who you talk to and who you connect with, because now you value your time differently. That's the difference between a millionaire, a billionaire, and a regular person. They value their time differently.
Can you give an example of how a millionaire with an M would value their time different
So,
from regular?
yeah, it's a really good example because I do this a lot too when I get caught up. But a millionaire is going to value their time and they're not going to go on Facebook just browsing through for clients, right? They would spend their time on LinkedIn and they would look for more quality clients. A regular person is still going back and forth and they're still not sure what they're looking for. So they're going to go through Facebook and they're going to meet more average person stuff. Like I know when I'm on Facebook, my prices are going to be lower. The prices that I give are going to be a little bit lower than maybe if I'm able to do research and say, okay, this is where my price is. Especially like it depends on what you're saying. But a millionaire, they value their time based on how much they make per hour. So they're going to limit the number of distractions that they have in their life that takes away from their work time and their family time. Because they know that in order to make that much money, they have to put in so many hours. So that means they need the rest. They're very time oriented. They know they have 16 hours a week with their family and they don't want anyone to touch that. A regular person like me, when I'm in some of my moods, I let little things upset me. I have a temper, for example. I'm going to use this as an example because I know this is what costs me time and money. I have a temper, and sometimes when I get mad, I can sit there for 2 days and not do anything because I'm mad at one little thing. I don't get like that often, but once in a while, I get it.
No.
That's 2 days of work that I lose when I get into that temper. And so I think about, well, what does that cost me? So if I've averaged myself at $150 an hour and I work 8 hours a day to make what is that? 150, 300, $300, $1,200 a day. That's how much I would be making a day. That's $2,400 that I lost, basically, I would think, because I got mad. And that's the cost of getting mad. $2,400. And do I want to make that mistake again? And these are things that I break down with my clients as well. We have to break it down that way because that's how certain times our minds are wired so that we can see how big of an effect everything is.
Wow. That's
Did I just blow your mind?
well, yeah, because like I think about that often, but I've never put it into those terms where multiplying by the hourly rate. Because for example, right, I'm like, I don't want to do this aspect. I'd rather go pay for this. Like for example, to have someone come in to do my housework and my house chores, and it was just because I'm trying to save time. But I've never put into perspective how much money I'm earning by not having to do that, right? So it's really multiplying by the hourly rates by how much time I save. I've never really thought about. That's wow.
Yeah. It's when you value yourself at that rate, then you would think you think in the term that, okay, is this person going to pay me that rate? Is this person going to pay me that rate? And you have to also like not judge them, but also be more, the more you prospect, the more you talk to people, the more you get better at it. You just realize that you have to make a choice, whether it's your time or their time.
Wow.
And most people will choose their time.
Yeah.
And that's why they come to me, because they want to choose their time. They're tired of giving their time away to other people. And now they want to draw their boundaries and they want to make better choices and habits so that they don't lose time. Because time is money. Time really is money.
Wow. So that actually is really cool. People come to you to get their time. Wow. That's wow. That's really powerful. So let me ask you this, right? So because the reason why I'm asking this question, why I even brought up the price of the retreat, 250K, because I have people that come to me on the phone. They're like, "Do you think I can get someone to pay me $750 a month? People are saying they can't afford $250 a month, and you're talking."
200, yeah, and the 250K was also exchanged. Like we
Uh,
exchanged other things in exchange for that 250. So it wasn't a cash.
uh,
I just wanted to say that, like it wasn't a cash. But yes, you can.
mm,
You have to stand with your ground. So if you make an offer, like let's say I made an offer to a client and they said, well, it's $50,000. And they say, Betty, it's too much for me. Well, it's how much do you value? You know, do you value your investment? How much do you want to invest? And if they can come up with an investment that is close to that, you come with that. But you have to stand your ground and say that's how much it's valued, because you have to think, okay, I'm spending 10 hours a day with this person.
uh,
And I'm also spending a lot of energy to correct this person. And that person needs to invest that amount of money to get the same value and the benefit that they would from that retreat.
uh,
So for example, like it's the same thing like college.
uh,
You go to a community college, you pay $200 a course. You go through the main college, you're paying $2,000 a course. The teacher that's teaching the $2,000 course is going to be different than the teacher teaching the $200 course.
uh,
And it's based on that value and that investment value. I chose to go to an MBA school where I paid $4,000 a class.
uh,
So that's where I get a lot. I'm able to see a lot of things that other people aren't able to see, because most people went to an MBA school where they paid $10,000 for the whole MBA.
Oh wow, yeah, wow.
Do you see the? I didn't want to break it down by classes. I didn't know either, but I know that they
Yeah.
usually pay between $10,000 to $15,000 for an MBA, and
Uh,
I paid for an MBA where I paid $4,000 a class. So my total MBA was almost $40,000.
so can I ask you this then? How are you attracting these higher tier people, right? Is it in the way that they talk? Is it in the message? Because I think you were telling me earlier, it's not about how much money you have. It's about,
It's about how you attract them. So are you able to go out and reach out to them? I'm able to attract millionaires because I talk to them.
mm,
So a lot of people, they go on LinkedIn and they don't talk to other people. Like they don't talk to people that are doing well, or they don't talk to people. I I can tell because it, like founders, right? I like, for example, I met Aaron and he's a millionaire and he owns two companies and he's helped build millionaires. It's that energy when you have that in you, you just attract. For some reason, when I read through his profile, I sent him a voice text and said, hey Aaron, congratulations on this and that. And I did a cold call basically. And they he was astonished
uh,
because not a lot of people do that.
oh wow.
Not a lot of people send a voice text to start off. And you can tell that because a lot of people are not comfortable doing voice text messages. Mhm.
Well, yeah, actually that's interesting because that is how we first met. You sent me a voice text message, and that was the first voice text I had gotten. So yeah, that's wow. Okay, that's interesting because I was like, voice text, what? I was like, you can send those? I didn't know you could do that. But
I talked to a pharmacist and reviewed his resume in less than 10 minutes through voice text.
oh wow,
You can do a lot through voice text. People are, because they don't hear those voices often anymore because we're so texting all the time.
uh huh. Oh
We
gosh,
we're able to, we're able to open that. We're more open to hearing that and connecting, because when you hear the voice, you hear the genuine voice.
uh huh.
You don't hear the spammy sales voice. Yeah.
Interesting. So I just something just flashed through my mind. I was like, I could do consultations easier and faster by using my voice.
Yeah, you can do voice text. Like I can literally do 20 seconds, because most voice text, when you're saying hello and stuff, you're looking between 10 to 15 seconds.
Uh,
So you can literally do,
yeah, you can.
I would say you can do 2 a minute, because I have to scroll down and look at through profiles, but you can do 2 to 3 a minute as opposed to phone calls, and then you can go right down the list. That's
That's powerful because I was like, that wow, because
look where we are now, right?
yeah,
From that voice text.
exactly, yeah, because yeah, then it's
And I meet people through networking as well.
uh,
Like I met my ex, the millionaire, the ex-boyfriend, through free seminar
oh wow,
through Landmark. They're looking. I went because I was looking for clients.
uh,
I go to other people's stuff looking for clients because everybody is seeking help in some way, and
so
I was bored.
how did you identify that person? Did you talk to everybody in the room, or could you just feel the energy of who could afford your service? How did you get that?
So funny that you asked that. Um, he came over to me. It
Mm,
was almost as if he was attracted to me.
uh,
Energy was, yeah, I did not talk to everyone in the room, to be honest. I did not know. He talked to me. He said he had he talked to the room because he opened up about his problems.
uh,
And when the woman sitting next to me was crying, and I told her I was a healer, I was doing spiritual healing work at the
uh,
time, and she was opened and she was crying and she wanted to know more. And it happened to be one of his group members, and he came over and talked to me. And he was so amazed that I was
mm.
talking to someone, because I guess now that I'm thinking about it, it was pretty different to have someone talk to you like a voice text message.
That's really cool. So it's almost like you give a free session or some sort of like display of value that you could help him
Yeah.
to his friends without even knowing it was his friend you were helping.
Hmm.
It's a testimonial basically.
Right. And
Mm,
we set up a meeting the next day to meet, and well, I got hired right in because he needed help with his other business, and his ex-wife had set him up for
uh, wow. So wow.
had set him up to be in the mental hospital. Sometimes that happens in certain states where women can call a mental hospital, like they can put you in the hospital for uh,
Oh, that's
things that you're not, that's not like schizophrenia, things
uh,
that
uh,
to this day I'm not sure if he has it or not, but at the time it was just crazy. I got him out of the mental hospital in like 4 or 5 days. So like a lot of the retreat and everything and stuff was a lot of things that had added up to things that I had worked with him. I worked with him for 3 months before I said that was enough.
wow. So let me ask you this. So then these higher tier clients, right? Since money is not as big of an issue, and you're saying they spend money differently than regular people do. Was it an easy sale? Was it a hard sale to get him to give you money or no?
It was an easy sell. It wasn't hard to get him to give me money. And
Wow.
even the higher end clients, it has not been hard to get money from them because they already have been searching for a solution. And usually when you talk to them, they are ready to talk to you because, like you said, not a lot of people are talking to them about their problems.
Uh,
Mhm.
wow. That's everybody's fighting for the people at the bottom because that's all they think they're worth, right?
But they're don't fight for the people at the bottom. Keep moving up. Like I get stuck in that sometimes too. But I realize that no, there are people, and even as I'm talking to you now, there are people at the top that need help. And if you're able to help them, you're able to help them invest in that price value.
Wow, exactly. That's a great lesson. I don't know if everybody's taking notes. I've taken 3 pages of notes so far in this interview,
Oh wow.
but because I mean, I'm going to go take this for some of my clients who are struggling to, well, at least in the beginning, they struggle to do it. It's
Mhm.
like, can you talk about the inner game that you have to be able, that you're constantly developing for yourself to be able to talk to them?
So you have to develop yourself a lot. That's a really good question. So I'd have my own coach that I talk to and that I have to help develop me.
Mm.
And I do things where I write exercises and I write down, like, I will make, let's say when I was starting to just start out and I was making up $8,000 a month, I will make $8,000 a month. I will make $8,000 a month. And I wrote it out for 55 times for 5 days straight in a row.
Wow.
That is reprogramming and subconscious reprogramming your brain to get to that next level so that you can feel the millionaire mindset, so you can feel the billionaire mindset, and that you can start to attract those type of people. And I obviously have done it many times and gotten it done, because that's why I'm able to attract these people into my circle.
Yeah.
Um,
But that first time, right? So for a lot of people watching, they probably never. I don't know. I don't know the people watching at this very moment in time. They probably never sold something for more than like $5,000 or $6,000 a time. So what could you recommend? Like maybe 3 things they do now to start grooming themselves to be able to do this in the next couple months.
I would write down your goal of what you want to sell and see that vision and that visual and put it on the wall. It's so important to have notes and visions. And I write down quotes, I write down sales tips. I have this book I love, it's called The Art of War. And I write down quotes about drilling military and burning ladders. I mean, just things that inspire me, and I put them on the wall so I can see them every day. Because you don't realize how much motivation you need. You need to keep seeing that number until you feel comfortable and your body tests that it's comfortable. And you also need to practice in front of the mirror. So that's the one important thing that I think everyone should learn, is to practice in front of the mirror. $50,000. I say $50,000 in front of the mirror until I am blue in the face. But it comes off naturally. And I'm going to tell you this trick that you pay thousands of dollars to learn, but the trick to selling a big ticket item is this. Very simple. It's $50,000.
Shut up.
Yes.
Exactly.
And you shut the fuck up. Excuse
Oh my
me.
God, that's exactly what I wrote on my sales thing.
And
Oh my
that's what you're
God.
practicing. You're
Oh my
practicing
God.
to shut the fuck up, because that's it. Because by
Oh,
the time, first of all, you should not be telling them the price unless they ask you what the price is. You
exactly.
should have been giving them the sales leads where they start to ask the price for you, or just say what the price is and let them
Yeah.
pitch. I have been told that you can just do the price and send them the link to pay you. And
Uh-huh.
I'm like, I haven't done that yet, but
Uh,
hey,
you,
if I
you know,
feel compelled to, I will.
if you do it on Zoom and you do it in the chat, I had that happen one time when I was buying something. It was the person can still see me, and then all it is like this thing on the side, and I have to go to their PayPal link. They don't have to say anything, but the social pressure is so intense.
Right, because the
Yeah.
chat, like the link is there, and you can drop the link right in the chat box. You could drop the link in the text, you know. I had this girl do it to me and I was like, there's no way I can do this. But just so that, because you're doing high ticket items, you want to have a contract. You want to have all that legality,
Yeah.
because it puts them through that mindset of that this is something which like legal.
Exactly.
They need that buying process.
Mm.
Gotta
Yeah,
be.
yeah. I'm like, everybody talks about if they don't pay on the phone, then you fail. I'm like, I don't have a lot of people pay on the phone because I need them to sign a contract. You know,
No, you have to sign, and sometimes they take to 24 hours to pay your invoice.
Exactly.
You have to be okay with the fact that they, sometimes I do resume rewrites, and those they take 24 hours to pay. They don't just do
Yeah.
those. They don't. Yeah,
Um,
I don't do those anymore because I feel bad when they don't get it. Like, because then I had to listen to them. Like, um, I do them, but I feel I need to disattach. Like, I need to either do it with the coaching or
uh,
not do it all, because with the coaching they'll get the job. Like,
yeah. Yeah.
doing just the resume rewrite, it felt disconnected with what I'm able to do for them.
That's why like the lead generation aspect of my business is a lot smaller than what it used to be. It's probably about 20 to 25% of my overall business, which is mostly coaching. Because when it's just lead gen, you can get. I'll tell you the reason why I laugh when you said STFU. Since a woman, the person's like, I want to work with you. The only thing the call was supposed to be about was how much was it going to cost. They talk for an hour. Woman goes, the price of the program is X amount of dollars, and just kept talking. I know it's a lot of money, but like blah blah blah, and then like I can give you a document that can show you different ways to pay for it, and she never even asked the girl to pay for it.
Yes, and that is the biggest reason why people fail in their sales pitch, because they don't wait for them to answer. They
Mm-hmm.
don't wait for your client to answer. It's like yeah, I have this. It's like the biggest
Yeah,
sales goof.
yeah. So it's oh man, it's that
Yeah,
that's why, just like similar to your resume, I don't do as much lead gen unless it's a full scale lead gen where it's lead gen all the way to one of my team members is doing the sales calls for
yeah,
me. But
and it's
yeah,
right, and it's like it takes same amount of work for me to go through all my contacts and figure out who it is that I want to offer for coaching.
mm-hmm.
So if I'm going to lead gen for resume, it's a different.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like, so it's two different.
yeah.
But
But if I coach,
yeah,
they
you
know.
just need to you just need to stop and let them go. This is through years of training
Uh,
and experiences that I am sharing this with you. But it
exactly.
really is. You just
You see, but thanks for people watching. This is why you're in a group like this, because we have people who have such diverse backgrounds. I mean, when she said that price, I was like, that's crazy. But once you really train your inner game, like she's telling you how to do here, you're going to start to be able to. I think you were saying you see patterns with people and how they write their profiles, be able to pick them out.
right.
Yeah.
You have to understand that a real estate agent sells a $200,000 house to a $600,000 house throughout within their career.
Mm-hmm.
They're not prepared to do that until so how do you prepare yourself to sell a high ticket item like a $50,000 ticket item? You go test drive a Tesla. You go test drive a Fiat.
Uh,
Because guess what? Your clients are driving Fiats, Teslas, Lexus. Those are the type of cars they're driving.
uh,
You go to Nordstrom Rack, no, Nordstrom, not Nordstrom Rack. You go to Nordstrom and you try on a pair of Jimmy Choos. I did try on a pair of Jimmy Choos. They're
uh,
very nice. Guess what? That's what your clients are wearing.
oh, wow. So then, yeah, then you start to feel like them. You understand exactly what it's like to be like them. Wow.
You go where your clients hang out. So if you're not going to go to the country clubs, you need to start to feel what they're feeling. Um, are they all going to be using the same products? No, but it's just so that you can feel what the luxury products are. This is where people pay $200 for a pair of shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Why are they paying $200 for a pair of shoes? Because it's sexy.
Uh,
But but what is the phrase? You have to walk in someone's shoes to understand them.
yeah, walk 10,000 miles in their shoes or something.
10,000 miles in a Jimmy Choos. I would gladly walk 10,000 miles. They break before that, but
Yeah. You better hope you're like walking towards a beach, so when they break, it'll be comfortable or something like that.
Um,
So,
I can tell you that when my ex-boyfriend, he took me out and he bought me a pair of shoes for $200. That's when I realized, yes, I want these $200 pair of shoes because they
oh,
were really comfortable. They were
wow.
really comfortable that I didn't realize, well, I thought $60 pair of shoes was the same. It's not.
Oh, wow.
So just a lesson that, yeah. And it's millionaires, they think differently because they spend money differently. They know what makes 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 things work differently.
Can you elaborate just a little bit more on that? You said
So
that,
for example, like I said, my ex-boyfriend, he got out of the hospital and his wife filed for divorce at that time. And he had to rebuild his company and a lot of stuff, and he needed me to work for him. So he took me down to after we got out of the lawyer's office, he took me down to Century 21, and we bought a whole new wardrobe for $1,000 of brand new clothes for me to go work. I became a consultant just like that.
oh,
So does that make sense?
kind of, but can you explain? So the
So
brand
they
new one,
know that money solves a lot of problems. So they're going to spend money differently than we do. We're not going to spend $1,000 to build a new business. We're going to we wouldn't spend that on clothes, but they know that the reason why they're spending on clothes is because that's what would sell the $500 an hour image. So they're
oh,
willing to put that into that. So you want to, it's your image. They understand image, they understand branding in that marketing style.
okay, wow.
Because and that's what thinking large is. Like you need to understand that you're going to be spending that money somehow. And if you want to make that much money, well, what are you spending it for? Because that's really the reason, the drive that's going to get you to wake up every day and make that money. Because you're going to suffer a lot of what we call client abuse along the way.
Yeah.
Client abuse is when you get bad clients that
Yeah.
it's exactly what it is. Like I mean, I should not have to say it. Like we as entrepreneurs, this is what we work with. Like we deal with.
I've come to a point if a person's a bad fit and I made the mistake of enrolling them, we just drop them and give a refund as to either the prorated whatever is left on the contract. So
Mhm.
every contract I have now has basically an escape clause. If you're rude or if you're blah blah blah, sorry, you have your money back.
Yeah, I think I should find that in my contract as well. I gotta put
Yeah,
yeah.
and that's one of the reasons why I'm moving more towards courses than coaching. Because I mean, I'm answering the same question 50,000 times, and it's just like I was on a coaching call yesterday. I was like, I swear I made a video for another one of my clients on how to
Hmm.
fix this exact issue step by step. So I'm
Hmm.
like, let's send this to this person, and let's keep basically like making a video fact page, but that's going to turn into a course that I sell for. I don't know. It depends how much I decide whether it's going to be recurring or whether it's going to be a one-time fee. But
Yeah.
you know, so let me ask you this. So then, when he was building the business, what was he thinking? Was he thinking in terms of tactics or strategies? Was he very high level? Was he in the weeds?
He was so emotionally um gone and burnt out from his marriage and his divorce that he was not building his business correctly. He was not making good decisions in his business.
Okay.
So we ended up fighting a lot over that, to be
Uh,
honest.
so
And
can I ask you this? And so let's ask for like a successful millionaire, since I know this one ended badly.
this one ended up, so the Accessible Millionaire is like, she, well, one of my successful millionaires, she had her house burnt down So she was living in a hotel, and I got her out of the hotel, finding a new place, and getting her situated into a new house, and just getting over the whole
Uh-huh.
grief of losing 25 years of your house, like that's 25 years of your life, everything. Yeah. So she was very successful in the sense that she was able to get out of the hotel and get out of that trauma. I was with her for 10 days to help her get in and out of the hotel. And we got her out of the hotel, we got her into a new place and moved into a new place. I don't know if you understand how hard it is when people are going through that trauma, but they want to just stay inside and
Yeah.
drink and do nothing for like days. And she had been doing that for 7 months. No one could have helped her. Like she had anyone to help her. She was having issues with taking care of her daughter.
Uh-huh.
So to help her from that situation to get back into the house and be able to take care of her daughter was a huge,
Yeah, it's a big step. Wow.
huge step, like huge step.
Information.
Like
Yeah.
I don't, it's huge transformation.
Yeah. Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, because it's always fun. It's funny that you even have a coach yourself, right? So it's funny. I always love to have a coach even for marketing because it's like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, the stuff I think about. I asked a question last week, and he was like, "I don't even think about stuff like that, man." So I'm like, "What?" It was almost like my marketing coach doesn't. What do you say?
No, go ahead. I was just listening.
Doesn't think in terms of steps. He thinks in terms of where he wants to go, and then moves. I don't know if you know who Grant Cardone is.
Yes.
Whenever he talks about business, it's such a high level. It's just like it's almost like he says, "Go build an audience," and you're like, "Well, how?" But he doesn't say the how because it's almost like he doesn't think in terms of how. He just thinks of where he wants to go, and then gets it done. You know.
I'm not a big, I don't know him too well, to be honest, because I find it to be a lot of hype.
Yeah, but just talking about like the mentality of
Yeah.
like how that's how my marketing coach is as well. I'm like he's like, for example, I was like, so
Right, they're not specific to the how, which is why it's airy.
uh
You need to ground it down, and like I'm an accountant, I have to see things in
yeah
numbers and have to graph things out and things that way. That's why I look at statements. That's why they're statements, and that's why
yeah. So it's like, oh man, I'm trying to get a little bit more like that instead of when I say in the weeds, I mean like
yeah.
consistently thinking about tactics. Like, for example, should I take this person to a consultation call or should I just do a consultation call over text instead? Should I ask this person a bunch of questions, tell them the price before I get on the phone call? Should I get the person on the phone call, then tell them about the price? Should I say the price and then leave or send the price and then invoice? The guy's like, that's way too much thinking, Bryce.
Hmm.
Get the client. I'm like, well, which one works better? Which
And that's the thing. You just have to stop thinking and just do it, because you won't know until you get them into the call.
Well, I just have too many options. So that's the thing. It's like I do all of them to get clients, whether it's all those the methods I just talked
Hmm.
about. But it's like which one should I do primarily? Which one should I focus on? He's like, it doesn't matter. Just get the client. And I'm like, very helpful, man. Very helpful.
Yeah. The thing is, like, if you have too many, then you have too many to put them through the funnel.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, It's supposed to keep it simple, like a simple funnel.
Huh.
I've had to keep it simple, just like, explain your value and give them the price.
Mm. Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, that's really great. Where can people find more information about you?
Well, you can connect with me on LinkedIn, or you can check me out on my website, bettydang.com. Betty, D as in David, A, N as in Nancy, G as in girl.com.
Okay. If you guys did not hear how she spelled it, her name is right below her picture.
That is, I spelled it just in case, but yes,
But just
it
in case
is,
they can't hear it
yes,
fast enough.
of course.
Excellent. Thanks so much for doing this
Yeah,
interview. I know I
thank
got
you,
a lot
Bryce.
out of it.
Yeah, no, I'm glad that you got out a lot of it. It was great conversation. It's good to get to know you a little bit better too, Bryce.
Yeah. I can't wait to continue to work with you in the future and see how we can continue to help each other out. Um,
Yeah, definitely.
For the people watching, thank you so much for watching this interview. I got a lot of value out of it. Hopefully you got a lot of value out of it. If you would like to see more content like this and interviews that are exactly great just like this, we have on unique guests, and we give you, just like the name suggests inside the group, which is called Uncapped Growth Strategies, we give you strategies, formulas, live interviews, free training, everything that you need to move towards the life and the business that I feel like you deserve, whether that's freedom, whether that's control, whether that's security to not have to worry about a job. We're going to give you everything that you need to get started. So thanks so much once more, Betty. Thank you so much for coming today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I can't wait to see you soon and see you later.
Thank you, everyone.
Excellent.